the start of the day, we may have phone calls from some players, so there might be some things we need to triage and we may need to change our appointments, but luckily that's few and far between. When we do land on site, we've got a list already drawn up for who wants pre-game prep, and obviously we're into the strapping and other bits of soft tissue. But the other, I guess the mechanics of the day are like this machine here and some of the bits we'll talk about, which is the Hawkeye system. So the Hawkeye system, as you can see, is multiple camera angles around the pitch, and this is used to monitor any impacts the players may have if we have any HIAs, which are the head injury assessments, if there's concussions that we need to assess or possible concussions. And that's, it's a straightforward system. We've got an iPad on the side of the pitch, which one of the physios will monitor. There's also an independent matchday doctor, so they're monitoring the same thing, and they may call an injury that we need to go and speak to the player, and they may need to come off for an assessment.
So the player, they'll come straight through, because we're literally right next to the pitch here. Yeah. You'll sit them on that bed and then go through the motions. Yeah,
so they have to go through a battery of tests, which they're aware of, because they have to do that as a baseline. It gives them time to just decompress from the game first, whilst we review the footage. And then we're into the test and see if they're clear to come back onto the field.
Right, walk with me, because we've only got a couple of minutes and there's so much cool stuff in here. We've already had a look at the Hawkeye, got some weights here. You only go up to 10 kilos on the dumbbells. Do not tell the rest of the Premiership that, as I think we're soft. What have we got going on here?
Yeah, so it links into the Hawkeye system. This is Protect, which are the gum shields which have basically they measure the force of the impacts the players take. So again, it's live time, so if we record an extremely high outside of their normal variance, we may then link it up to the Hawkeye system, have a look at what that impact looks like, and then actually get onto the field and speak to the player. So it's a great bit of kit.
So just taking a look at this, these are the gum shields. We can see there Danny Kerr, Lewis Liner, Dino Lamb.
Yeah, so these are obviously moulded for them, and they've got, you can see the chips in them, they've got a battery pack, and they'll link up direct to this laptop, which will give us the lifetime data.
Whose job is it to clean those?
So the players have to clean them themselves, but then obviously, and you're spot on, with current COVID times, they then have to be cleaned again prior to each use, prior to storage and charging.
Head of Medical Services, it is not your job to be cleaning lads' gum shields. We've got a few more beds and everything set up here. While I'm after some gossip, is there anyone who's particularly soft on the treatment table?
Absolutely no comment. That's in-house only.
Speaking of cool bits of kit, there's something that looks like a laptop there. It almost looks like one of those ones that you teach young children to spell on, but I'd assume that it is a lot more technological than that. What have we got going on there?
So that's a diagnostic ultrasound machine. So we can use it if the players come off injured, and we want to know the right way to triage them and look after them before potentially they move on to hospital. We can look at soft tissue injuries, so muscle or ligaments, and we can look at potential bony injuries. So it allows us to look after the player, package them in the right way before we send them off to either get an MRI scan or a CT scan.
You say package them. Big shout out to DHL. Thanks for your continued support here at Harlequins. Are there any things that you can do here? You talked about triage earlier. If somebody needs stitches or if somebody needs patching up, like how far can you go with your medical treatment?
Yeah, so we obviously have to, and we're lucky enough to have a great team of doctors. And they'll come in, they can suture, stitch any of the guys that we need to. If we go through the numbers of staff, so we're going to have, you can look at the radios and all the kit we have there, but there's 3 physios working on a day, there's 3 doctors that work on a day, and that's also when crowds aren't in. So when the crowds are here as well, we've got another doctor as a crowd doctor on top of that. So there's a big team.
Would I be right in thinking that for you and for everybody, a quiet day is a good day?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, that's what we're after. And touch wood, we've had that over the recent weeks, and long may it continue.